Ross is the Dinosaur, written by Gabrielle Franklin. Welcome to the office, orientation video. Joe walks into a small, dim conference room. Inside is a meeting table with a single chair at the head of the table, and on the opposite side of the head of the table rests a small television. There is a single overhead light turned on over the television. The intercom blinks on from a mini speaker on the table.
Take a seat.
Joe nervously approaches the table, fumbling around a bit with the chair, table, and television, as if he is new to the conference environment.
Not on the table.
Joe pauses, and then sits in the meeting chair. The television screen blinks on.
Please observe the following video in full.
The camera pans over to the television. The orientation video plays. A woman clad in a business suit comes on screen in front of a large gray building. A little screen tag appears and dubs her Ada, Employee Training Specialist. Ada's smile is a little too wide, her voice a little too sharp, and far too optimistic about work.
Welcome to the company. We are so happy that you are starting at this wonderful workplace.
The video moves to scenes among the office's workspace, following Ada as she moves to the locations she is referencing. The orientation video has a bouncy theme and feels similar to a 90s instructional video for driver's ed, or student safety, etc. Ada stands in the workroom in front of a cubicle and gestures to the desktop within. There are employees working in the other cubicles.
As an employee, you are expected to hit your quota on the work, which you can find on your assigned desktop in your cubicle.
Ada starts walking down the cubicles while speaking at an upward tilt until she comes across a group of workers all wearing the same black suits and two happy smiles. She stands in front of them with her own two happy smile.
If you have any questions, you should already know the answers. You will also receive work evaluations which can provide upward mobility. Get ready for a rewarding career.
Ada walks past the group of smiling employees back outside. There is an employee in a black suit and smiling being loaded into the back of an ambulance that she stands in front of. The employee being loaded in the ambulance gives a pained thumbs up. The background transitions to the break room, where there is a lonely table and several coffee machines, each stocked.
Don't worry, it's not all work and no play. You receive a number of benefits that you can exercise during your time as an employee. You have access to a healthcare plan that works only under very specific conditions and injuries, an isolated cubicle where you can hide from your coworkers and the outside world, and a 24/5 break room you can use during the week for late nights of dedicated work.
Ada walks. The camera focuses on Ada in front of the office cubicles.
Congratulations for completing your office training. You are ready to obey and serve. Be grateful.
The video freezes for an uncomfortably long second on Ada as she makes the signal to cut off the video. The screen goes dark. Joe is stuck in an awkward silence before the miniature intercom clicks on.
That's all. You're free to go and find your assigned orientation mentor.
Orientation mentor?
The intercom clicks off after no answer.
All employees report to the main conference room for Friday briefing.
Main conference room?
Joe remains in the small conference room. The miniature speaker activates again.
That means now, Joe.
Interior hallway, getting lost in the office. Joe leaves the small conference room. He leans out of the doorway and looks back and forth. The hallway is infinite and dark in both directions. Starting from the light above the small conference room doorway, lights turn on, leading one direction down the hallway. As Joe goes down the hallway, the lights turn off behind him with an audible click, like a heeled footstep. Joe starts accelerating, and then full-on runs down the hallway and slams into the door of the main conference room. Afraid, Joe panically pushes the door, ignoring the clear pull handle to escape the darkness. He calms down after realizing that there is no one behind him, and dusts himself off to hide his shame. Joe pulls the main conference room door open. Interior main conference room. First office meeting, Friday. The first accusation. Joe walks into the conference room and stands awkwardly at the front. The room has a projector and a digital whiteboard before rows of chairs with fellow office workers. Everyone is wearing bland business attire. Dan has a dinosaur tie. The room is silent when Joe walks in.
Hello.
Larry waves Joe over and gestures to take a seat next to him. The door swings shut. The muttering resumes amongst the workers.
Hey Joe! I'm Larry. I'm your orientation buddy, here to break you into our daily grind. Feel free to ask me any questions you have.
Do you know what's going on here?
I don't, but I heard something from upstairs.
The boss walks in and turns on the smartboard, or equivalent to digital whiteboard. Using his remote, he tries to open the PowerPoint by tapping the icon in the uncalibrated screen. There's an awkward pause when the mouse appears far from the pressed point. The boss tries again by doing the same thing, to no avail.
Well, this isn't working. Let's see if I press here.
Ooh, boss, try tapping the button by the eraser. It'll recalibrate the screen.
This button?
The boss hits the zoom in button several times.
No, sir. The one next to that button.
This one.
The boss hits the zoom out button several times.
No, sir. The other one.
The boss finally hits the right button, but is too short to hit the top calibration dots and must jump up and down to fix the board. He brushes off his suit and taps over the presentation. He does not press start presentation, so the program itself is still visible when displaying the Welcome to Friday briefing slide.
Okay, pay attention. We're starting now. We have a new employee today. His name's Joe. You'll know him because you've never seen him before. Now, corporate has sent out a memo that you probably haven't read about some dire situation or whatever in our workspace. So, as some of you may be wondering, what is this crisis this week about?
Boss turns on the slides behind him to display a picture of a ferocious-looking Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Dinosaurs.
The boss hits the next slide, displaying more dinosaur propaganda aligned to his description.
We have a request from headquarters to locate the dinosaur among us. We all know that dinosaurs lower productivity, eat coworkers, and grow to the size of mountains if unchecked. If we don't find the dinosaur, this could happen to our department. So, does anyone have any dinosaurs they'd like to report?
Carol raises her hand. The boss gestures to her to continue.
It's already clear who the dinosaur is. It's you!
What?
The evidence is irrefutable. We've all seen you struggle with your keyboard. We don't see anyone you fire ever again because you're eating them. And you make our days miserable.
That is preposterous.
That's exactly something the dinosaur would say.
You can't get rid of me.
Then let's vote. Raise your hand if you think that our boss is the dinosaur.
Carol raises her hand first, and all of the other employees follow. Joe raises his hand last. The door bursts open, revealing threatening dinosaur removal silhouettes.
Attention all workers, please stand away from the dinosaur. A removal unit is on the way. I repeat, please stand away from the dinosaur.
A squad of dinosaur removal team workers enter into the conference room and surround the boss. They comically knock him down and drag him out by the arms. They are dressed in black riot gear with a symbol of a dinosaur head under a red circle with a line through it on their uniforms.
I'm not the dinosaur, you nitwit! I swear I'll put all this on your performance evaluations. I'll be back!
So, what do we do now?
I guess we go back to work.
The office workers mill out, including Joe, Larry, and Carol. The light in the conference room turns off, except for the photo of the dinosaur on the screen before that too goes dark. Interior workroom, office tour. Meet the coworkers. The employees filter into a large room of infinite rows of cubicles. Some of the rows are interrupted with large ferns and water dispensers like an 80s style office complex. Joe has been separated from Larry among the employees. Joe spots Larry ahead of him in the crowd.
Larry, wait!
Larry turns around and stops.
What's up?
Joe catches up to Larry. He keeps getting bumped into by his passing coworkers, while Larry is not brushed against.
Where am I supposed to go?
Your cubicle?
Yes, but where is that? I've never been here before.
Joe pushes back against one of the employees. The employee pauses, and they look at each other for a brief second before the employee brushes his shoulder harder. Joe stumbles forward a bit and looks up at Larry.
You sure about that? this is the perfect opportunity for me to give you an office tour.
Larry stands tall and confident, now decided in becoming a tour guide. Interior workroom. Larry and Joe are next to an exit stationed on a far wall of the cubicles.
That's the exit. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it before, though.
Interior workroom hallway. Larry gestures down a dark, desolate hallway with a light on at the end.
Over here's the hallway toward the gym. Be careful. It's quite a ways off, so your productivity would definitely go down while you're over there. Remember, that's bad. You could get reprimanded or worse, fired.
Exterior break room. Larry and Joe look into the break room. The fridge is a clear view along with a plastic table, a few chairs, another potted fern, and other expected break room items.
This is the break room. When we have our allotted 30-minute lunch periods, this is where we come to eat. Yeah. Be careful about leaving things in the fridge, though. People love to poke around. Between me and you, though, it's a great way to get a free snack or two.
Interior workroom. Larry and Joe are back at the cubicles.
And here's our cubicle block. I'll introduce you to our neighbors.
Exterior of Sarah's cubicle. Joe and Larry approach her cubicle. She is on the phone. On the walls of her cubicle are workers' rights posters emphasizing anti-corporation rhetoric.
Yes, I'd like to talk to a legal representative. I'm on the phone right now.
I know, but this is Joe. It's his first day.
Nice to meet you. Talk to you later. No, I can talk right now.
Sarah shoos Larry and Joe away. Exterior of Carol's cubicle. Larry and Joe approach Carol's cubicle. It is decorated like a cubicle version of a CEO office. It's sharp and distinct. Carol is typing at impossible speeds on her computer with a double monitor.
Carol, you in?
Yes, Larry. What paperwork have you brought this time?
No papers. Just Joe.
What kind?
No, like the new guy from today.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, but also disappointing.
Exterior of Dan's cubicle. Larry and Joe approach Dan's cubicle. Inside, it is decorated heavily with dinosaur memorabilia. Dan has dinosaur statues, posters, and prehistoric patterns anywhere there is available space in his area. One of his posters is the movie promo for My Boss is the Dinosaur.
Knock knock.
Dan continues to blast the Jurassic Park theme song through his dinosaur-themed headphones.
Dan!
Dan, now hearing Larry, turns around, putting the headphones around his neck.
Oh, hello, man. What's up?
Joe, meet Dan. Dan, meet Joe.
Hey, man. It's nice to meet you, Joe. I'm Dan O'Sword. All my friends call me
Dan O'Sword. Dan O'Sword.
Aren't you a little worried about the,
Joe gestures at all the dinosaur memorabilia in Dan's cubicle. Exterior of Joe's cubicle. Larry and Joe approach a blank, uninhabited cubicle.
Yep, that's everyone.
What about the others?
No one cares about them, Joe. And they're kind of extras to us. This is your cubicle. See, that's your computer right there. And you have a little fern. So we'll get to it. I'll see you in a bit after I get back from the break room.
Interior workroom. Of Larry. Joe is seated in his cubicle, trying to do the work by typing on his keyboard. He uses only his index fingers to type while looking at the keyboard. It's a slow process.
W O R
Joe pokes his head outside his cubicle. Others start to congregate.
I think it's coming from the break room.
Oh, man. What do you think it was? The dinosaur?
Joe, after hearing the muttering, leaves his cubicle and walks with the crowd into the break room. Interior break room. Joe and the other employees come into the break room, milling next to the entrance. Larry has got his back pressed against the wall and appears rather faint. The fridge is tilted from being slammed shut with a ton of force. Carol goes to Larry's side and comfortingly holds him. Larry, in shock, points at the fridge.
There's a face! A face in the lunchbox in the fridge!
All of the employees begin milling, looking toward the fridge, but none approach.
Larry, you need to calm down. What do you mean about a face in the fridge?
The dinosaur has a face in the fridge. The dinosaur eats faces.
Yes, we all know that. But whose face?
Why does that matter?
Because that's the one person we know for sure isn't the dinosaur.
Dan, Sarah, and Joe each come forward to aid Larry, who is becoming increasingly stressed and faint. Upon their approach, Larry becomes dramatically more stressed and begins rapidly toward the three of them, such as undistinguishable who he is pointing at.
Dinosaur!
Larry then faints in Carol's arms.
Well, clearly, one of you three did this.
Which one of those two? Because it wasn't me.
I don't know. Larry wasn't really clear. That's definitely going to show up on his record. Guess that means we're going to have to try all three of you.
What?
What?
The employees begin gossiping among themselves. Surprised at this turn of events, Carol lays Larry down on the floor, forgotten. Carol stands up and dusts her suit off. She then points to Dan.
Did you leave a face in the refrigerator?
Dan appears shocked at this accusation. He goes over to the break room's refrigerator and pulls out a dinosaur-themed lunchbox.
No, this is my lunch.
What's inside?
Dan makes a show of opening the lunchbox and a container within. He dramatically opens the container to reveal several people-shaped chicken nuggets with business suits drawn on them.
Are you done invading my privacy about what I can eat now?
Yes, you're clear.
Carol then gestures to Sarah.
Sarah, what were you doing in the break room?
I was on the phone.
With who?
None of your business.
That's really not helping your alibi.
Carol crosses her arms. The other workers in the room become agitated at Sarah's lack of answers, pretending to whisper among themselves and pointing. Sarah meets Carol's eyes and they stare at each other for what feels like an eternity. The whispers of the other employees continue to grow louder as Sarah breaks under the pressure.
I was calling the union rep.
There's a dramatic freeze frame on Sarah's face. The courtroom feel of the office shifts to reflect a tone closer to an old police show, briefly focusing on Carol's overdramatic shock. The employees now rapidly entrance attention and Dan's anger. Dan, with great energy, begins accusing Sarah with the same energy and positioning as the salad cat meme.
Did you ever learn to obey and serve?
Feeding on Dan's boldness, the employees then take to heckling Sarah with great vigor, patriotism, and loyalty.
Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve.
Do you
Obey
all
and
hear yourself? Obey and serve? What the hell is that supposed to mean? We work here constantly, 24 hours a day, in a workplace with no windows, no breaks, and no support. This job is thankless. And the people we work for, not just the people we see, but the people behind the scenes. The intercoms, the boards, the shareholders who don't care about us. Can't you see we are being exploited and manipulated? We're accusing each other without rhyme or reason for what? Being a dinosaur? What evidence do we really have other than these baseless accusations that there's actually a dinosaur among us? Why did we think our boss was the dinosaur? Who stands to gain from any of this? Because it's for sure not any of us. Don't any of you care to have the rights we deserve, our lives back, and honest, equitable treatment by our company? No.
The inspirational spell over the silent room is broken.
Who thinks Sarah is a dinosaur?
All the employees raise their hands.
Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve.
Obey and
The dinosaur removal team funnels in the break room from increasingly impossible places. At least one member steps out of the refrigerator, another rises from the fake potted ferns in the corner, and a few slide down from the ceiling. One of the dinosaur removal team members picks up Larry and carries him out of the room. No one notices that Larry is gone too. Two dinosaur removal team members take Sarah by the arms and drag her out of the door of the break room, through the fervently loyal employees.
Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve. Obey and serve.
Once Sarah is gone, the energy in the room drops back to a normal office place. People and dinosaurs in disguise start filing out of the break room into the cubicle workspace. The employees start milling about when Carol happens to come closer to Joe. Interior workroom.
You know, I think Sarah was right.
Joe turns to Carol in shock, and the room goes deathly silent.
We should be asking, who stands to gain from this? Clearly, the last employee standing after this dinosaur hunt must get a promotion. No one else would be here to get promoted.
The employees start looking at each other with more hostile intent, swayed by Carol's hint of a promotion. Suddenly, the employees start pointing among themselves and blatantly accusing one another.
You've got to be the dinosaur.
No, you!
Dinosaurs! Papers begin to fly, and the lights begin to flicker as the bloodbath begins.
Attention, all workers. Please stand away from the dinosaur. A removal unit is on the way. I repeat, please stand away from the dinosaur.
The chaos becomes unbearable. Joe rapidly dodges with increasing speed, his falling colleagues, flying staplers, and eye contact. Joe is rounding the final stretch of his cubicle when he glances up to see a large, looming figure of an angry office worker.
You!
Joe's eyes go wide in fright. He is rescued when a member of the dinosaur removal team tackles the looming employee into a nearby cubicle. Joe bolts into his cubicle, uses his desk, filing cabinet, and office chair for good measure to block the entrance to his cubicle. He backs himself into the darkest corner, curls up, covers both his ears, and waits for the bloodshed to be over. And then there were three, the final accusations. The office is deserted, except for three cubicles. Dan's cubicle, Carol's cubicle, and Joe's cubicle are clean and tidy, with the only lights in the office on above their respective workspaces. Joe removes the filing cabinet he used to block the entrance to his cubicle and dusts himself off. He looks around, but doesn't see anyone. Joe goes back to his desk, boots his computer, and starts typing, using only his index fingers while looking at the keyboard.
D I N O
Carol comes over and knocks on the doorway of Joe's cubicle.
Joe,
N.
mind if I come in? I counted, and there are only 3 of us left. You, me, and Dan.
And this means?
Carol stands straighter. A shady figure comes around the corner and leans in the doorway of Joe's cubicle with Carol's not paying attention.
That means if we play our cards right, 2 of us can win. Our company won't let the number go down from 2, or we just accuse each other, and none of us would win. I think we should both be on the same side. If we get rid of Dan, then we can both be promoted.
Dan suddenly leans into Joe's cubicle.
Oh man, wow. Glad I ever heard that one before I became extinct.
Dan?
Yep, that's right, Carol. Interesting conversation you and Joe were having there. Funny that I was gonna ask Joe the same thing.
Shame. You got here prehistorically late. Right, Joe?
Whoa, Joe. Hear me out before you make an accusation you're gonna regret. I think Carol's right, but she conveniently left at the part where she's the dinosaur.
Pardon me. That's bold coming from you.
You save the dinosaur, then she'll just eat you and take the promotion for herself. Because we all know that dinosaurs eat coworkers. I would not eat you, Joe.
Really? You think I'm the dinosaur? Your name is Dan O'Sore. How can your name be a dinosaur pun and you not be a dinosaur?
I can't help that my name is super cool. Anyway, you probably started the accusations. You probably did it to reduce the number of people you have to eat to become boss.
Dan and Carol become progressively louder and more heated, while Joe starts fearfully shrinking from the conversation.
I don't have to eat my colleagues to rise in the ranks. Besides, I saw you eating people-shaped chicken nuggets with our names written on them. How could you not be planning on eating us? I accuse you of being the
Nothing wrong with
dinosaur.
my dietary habits. I accuse you of being the dinosaur.
Carol and Dan look at each other and realize that they've reached a stalemate. They finally turn their attentions in unison to Joe, who shrinks back away from them.
Joe.
So,
Carol and Dan both breach Joe's personal space, hurriedly talking over each other to try and convince him to choose one of them.
Joe, accuse Dan. It's so obvious that he's a dinosaur. It's literally his name.
geez, Joe, my God. Accuse Carol, she'll backstab you for the promotion.
We can both be promoted!
I can share my super cool dinosaur merch with you.
Stay!
What?
Can he even do that?
The intercom overhead clicks on.
Attention all workers, please stand away from the dinosaur. A removal unit is on the way. I repeat, please stand away.
Roast come down from the ceiling, and the dinosaur removal team slides down with them far too cool for a workplace. They grab Carol and Dan and drag them away. Carol and Dan continue to plead with Joe until they are all dragged off screen by the dinosaur team.
Joe, I can't believe it! I thought we were allies!
The lights over Carol and Dan's cubicle go out, leaving Joe alone in silence and his lone little light. Promotions and professions. Conclusion. Joe is seated in his cubicle alone. The only light on in the office is above him. He hears an audible click as the intercom turns on once again.
Congratulations, Joe. We are so impressed with your ability to eliminate your coworkers that we have decided to end the search for the dinosaur and promote you to boss status. See you and your coworkers on Monday.
Joe looks around as if someone is going to visit his cubicle, and seeing no one, he removes his hands and face, as if they were gloves and a mask, to reveal that he is a dinosaur underneath. Joe sighs and runs his hand down his face.
So, I'm the dinosaur. I didn't mean to cause any trouble, but I'm new here and all I wanted to do was fit in. I didn't mean for Larry to find my backup mask in my lunchbox, or for Sarah to be accused in my place, or for Carol and Dan to both be taken away, or for literally everyone else to get taken away by a bunch of frightening anti-dinosaur people in riot gear to never return. Wow. When I say that out loud, it sounds pretty bad. but I've been so uncomfortable here. I'm the dinosaur, and they were hunting me. And I think this place is a hostile work environment. I've never eaten or planned to eat a coworker. I've been doing my work all day. I've never grown to the size of a mountain or whatever. And yet they still believe that about me. I'm not okay with that. But now that I'm the boss, things will be different here. Monday is going to be a new day.
Manic Monday, interior, main conference room. Joe walks into the conference room from the beginning of this whole dinosaur fiasco. His face is now hidden. He adjusts his tie with his long dinosaur talons and clears his throat. Then, the intercom clicks on, and Joe smiles. End of play.
Very nice.